This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We are on a job today in Winston-Salem. So let's take a look at what we got going on here. We have a bunch of water that hangs right here and leaks through this retaining wall. So take a look at this effervescence right there. And when I was out here shortly after a rain, this was all wet. The backyard is just completely mud. Nothing but mud and muck. So it's dry. It hasn't rained in about maybe a week or a little bit more than a week, but this was all just standing muck right here. And I'll show you some footage of that in a second. This is what the backyard looked like when I went out and did the quote, and this was early February 2021, and it had been a fairly wet winter, and his basement continues to flood. So he's got a finished basement, and it just floods all the time. And so the backyard area here, this is coming off his back neighbor, which is uphill from here. And so this is a really tricky situation to try to solve this backyard flooding. I still have not addressed that. But the basement flooding is the main problem he's got. And so that's what we're here addressing by catching these gutters. So what we're going to do here is we've got, look at all this roof line here that's coming down off of this gutter here. Same thing over there, coming down on this gutter here. So also look at how we're sloping uphill to the front yard there, and we have nowhere to take the water. So when I first looked at this job, I said, I don't know about this. We have nowhere to take the water. So because we have this sunroom right here and it's so high, we're going to run a pipe underneath and across that way, so we can achieve our fall by staying really high on this side because we have this deck. So we're going to catch both of these gutters, run them over here under the sunroom. And look at this. This is a new cable line. They didn't even mark it. That's a new cable line, and they didn't even mark it. There's power. So we're going to come across here. We're going to pull this lattice down. He said he doesn't care about the lattice. We're going to catch this gutter, and you see this corrugated here? The basement, the finished basement, has been flooding, and the homeowner said every time he did one of these pipes, it helped. And so you can see there's a bunch of gravel under there too. Now you guys know that putting gravel up against the foundation is a big no-no because water falls through gravel. So we're going to try to take some of this gutter water out of here and send it to the front yard and alleviate the burden on the backyard. Once we get to this point, we're going to go underground, and not really a good place to take the water in the front yard, so we're just going to dump it out here somewhere. So you can see there's another pipe in here already with a bunch of shingle dust coming out of it. So we're just going to do a rip-wrap outfall, probably like right there where it kind of falls a little bit. But we're going back uphill to the curb, so we can't take this water to the curb. So like a pond forms right there, and the customer was fine with adding to that. He said it eventually drains down. Hey, what's up? have we got any fall going down there?
Oh yeah.
We're back grading.
Is it?
Yep. Stand on that and see if it goes in. And we're about flat.
I got a half a bubble here.
Okay, we may want to come up with this just a hair. Jeremy, there was a little, you see any little sticks of brick in this dug up stuff?
Yep.
Yep, small chunk, that's all I need.
Okay.
Slide it under that hub right there.
Sure. I got a full right here, Sean. Right here?
Yep, that's good.
He's got a spot in the backyard.
Nice. So check your level right there.
Sure. I got quarter bubble maybe.
All right, yep, that's where we're going to be.
I got a full bubble here.
Okay, that's where we're going to be. It's going to be a little bit high up here.
But with all that pressure, it's not going to matter. It's going to roll. Yeah. And it's got you.
Yep. We're making pretty good progress here. We came out from under the deck there, came across, and we've got great fall everywhere. So there's a full bubble. We got a full bubble there, and we're heading on down the way. This was the previous outfall, and it's just buried in the yard, and I don't like to do it that way because this is what happens. It gets filled up, it gets forgotten, it gets covered, and it's not flowing anymore. So this is how I like to do my outfalls, where you have the pipe fully exposed and you have a logical place where the water's coming out. And so this is never going to get covered up, it's never going to get buried, it's never going to get forgotten. It's going to be continually working and clear. So it may not look that great, but the customer would rather have this outfall than have a flooded basement. We are finished with this job, so we're just giving it the old garden hose test. So, see how we do. Oh, I hope it reaches. Jeremy, I may have to get you to hold this here. It's not quite going to reach.
Okay, yeah. I know, right?
The homeowner asked us to get rid of all this old corrugated pipe, so we're going to haul it off. Here you go.
Yep.
Just turn it on and blast it.
All right, just tell me when.
Go.
All right.
You're just barely.
There we go.
All right. Got her. So we got these two caught underneath the deck here, And that's how we achieved fall, was coming up really high up on the deck, up under the deck. I can hear it already coming out. And we caught that gutter too, just to get it out of here. That used to come out right there and it didn't flow anymore. And there it is. So I usually tell people, when you first start the hose, by the time you walk out here, you should usually just about be right on time with the water arriving here.
Darn it, it's working. Nice. Real nice. That's the way we like it.
Yep. So that's just gonna flow out of here and flow back down where it already flowed, right? So that's every drop of water that comes out of there is water that used to be landing in your backyard. So that'll be good. This job is pretty far away from my house, so I have not been back out here to see the system, but the homeowner has been keeping in touch with me quite a bit throughout about 6 months or so. And so these two clips are some clips that he sent me during a big rain, and he said everything's been working really, really, really well. His basement's been completely dry. We recently had a hurricane pass through, and we got some pretty heavy rain from the aftermath. And so the homeowner just recently sent me this video of his backyard. So I want to talk about this and what's going on. This is the backyard, and he's got this whole area up here that is just uphill, and the whole thing is just got water coming across it. And over here is his driveway, so you can't take a pipe, and this is where the low point is. So I don't really have a good solution to this problem here in the backyard. But take a look right here. So right in here, there's this dry area, and this is now where you're heading toward the house. This is looking out of his back sunroom. And so as far as the basement flooding is going, that it has been solved. So we solved that portion of the job. Like I said, this homeowner has been in pretty constant contact with me about how everything's going. And this area right here along the basement, he said if he gets like maybe 10 minutes of super heavy rain, the gutters will overflow right here. Now, he still hasn't seen any kind of flooding going on. So a couple things we've talked about. He has some gutter guard on top of the gutters that may be blocking the flow into the gutters. The other thing we can do is right here, we can add a downspout right there and send that into the pipe that we've already got under there. And so that would give another point of exit for the water coming out of there. But so far, he said everything's been good to go as far as the basement goes, and so that's one concern that we're keeping a close eye on. So other than that, this has been a great job. It was pretty interesting to get it working, and another great testament that taking the gutter water out of the equation can make all the difference in the world.